Unlike your love for your Valentine, those fresh, beautiful flowers you received on Valentine's Day will inevitably start to wilt and droop and fall apart. But there are tricks of the trade to keep them fresh and extend their lifespan. Joining us from Charleston Wholesale Florist is owner Stan Utime and General Manager David Box. Gentlemen, good to see you again. It's been way too long.
Yes, Layla, thanks for having us back on the show again.
You know, once you get those gorgeous bouquets, and especially if they come from your wholesale florist, you know, you want to keep them as fresh as possible. So tell us some of the tricks of the trade to keep those blooms looking their best.
The first thing you do is get a clean base, clean water, and a fresh cut. There's no real science to keeping flowers fresh longer. Each flower is different, and it's going to have a different shelf life. The best thing we can do is after a couple days, you want to change the water out. When you do a fresh cut, it's always good to cut at an angle. What that does is maximize the water absorption. And then after that, as blooms start to die, you want to cut those off so that visually the arrangement looks alive. And lastly, you know, sourcing your flowers, it's good to know wherever you get them from, grocery store or retail shop, flower shop, knowing when they got the flowers in. So a lot of people will buy flowers, they might die in a couple of days, but they've essentially been, you know, cut from the farms for weeks. So you want to find out and get the freshest possible. So,
how about environmentally speaking, David? Should you be careful not to keep them in either too cold or too hot a room? I know typically flowers are kept fresh in a colder environment.
Well, here we actually keep them homeothermic at 46 degrees in our coolers prior to a retail shop picking them up. We're going to get them at the very last possible minute. But once the end user will get them, generally keeping them in a temperature control. Some flowers like to be in direct sunlight, or some do not. Just keeping an eye on them, and just you know, maybe as the Beatles got it right, just let it be. You know, just let them be. Just enjoy them visually.
Yes, they were very wise. You know, those little packets that they say to put into the water to keep the flowers fresh, is that a good idea? Does that actually help?
It does, but if you don't get it, it's fine. I think more importantly, keep fresh water, change it out every couple of days. And also the foliage, the greenery, try to keep that out of the water because that's can get moldy and mildew. So if you see the petals and the greens, you can either strip them off or keep them out the water. That's going to help too.
That's an interesting point, because I have noticed, you know, when you put a bouquet together, you're mixing all kinds of things and putting it into one vase. But there are certain things that give off kind of a sliminess, and it gets old fast. So that's an interesting tip. I never knew that. Like Christmas trees, should you add sugar to the water or 7-Up or something like that?
Well, there's a lot of, we'll call them old-time recipes that people will like to do. Our motto really is with nature, really just let it be natural, and just, you know, it's fine if you add some of those things, but it's fine if you don't. Like Stan said, the best remedy is clean water, and don't be afraid to take that arrangement that you've gotten from that you received from one of the local retail shops. After a couple of days, take it out of the vase and rearrange it. Play with flowers. That's what they're meant to do.
I was going to say, you can make multiple arrangements out of just one.
Right.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. So good to see you again.
Always a pleasure.
Okay, thanks for having me.
We're back after this.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's Day. We're back after this.
All right.